You don't need a $10,000 shop to make $100 per project. Let that sink in for a second, because I know what most people believe. They think you need a table saw that costs more than a used car. They think you need decades of experience. They think you need some kind of woodworking pedigree that gets passed down from grandfather to son. None of that is true. Last month, I heard from a woman named Sarah in Ohio. 6 months ago, she had never touched a saw in her life. She bought 3 basic tools, watched some videos, and started making simple wooden pieces in her garage. Last month, she sold a project for $135, one piece, one afternoon of work, to someone who found her on Facebook Marketplace. Sarah isn't special. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that what she did, you can do too. Because the woodworking projects for beginners that sell for premium prices aren't complicated. They're simple builds done well, presented properly, and priced with confidence. Today, I'm going to show you 5 of these projects. Each one sells for over $100. Each one can be built with basic tools. And each one is being sold right now by people who started exactly where you are. If you stick with me to the end, you'll have everything you need to pick one of these, build it this weekend, and list it for sale by Monday. So if that sounds good to you, keep watching. And if you find even one idea that helps you make money from your woodworking, do me a quick favor and hit that like button. It takes half a second and it helps more people find this content. Let's get into it. The first project is something you've probably seen at every dinner party, Instagram post, and home magazine in the last 5 years: live edge serving boards. Now, I need to stop you right here because I know what you're thinking. Isn't that just a cutting board? No, and that single word difference is worth about $50 to $60. A cutting board is what you chop onions on. It gets scratched up, stained, and eventually thrown away. People pay $25 to $40 for a cutting board because they see it as disposable kitchenware. A serving board is different. A serving board is what you arrange cheese and charcuterie on when guests come over. It sits in the middle of the table. People compliment it. They ask where you got it. It's not kitchenware, it's functional art. And functional art commands premium prices. The live edge is doing most of the selling for you. That natural bark edge along one side of the board signals handmade, artisanal, one of a kind. Big box stores can't replicate it because every piece of wood is different. That's your competitive advantage. Tools you need? A handsaw or basic circular saw, sandpaper or an orbital sander, food-safe finish like mineral oil mixed with beeswax. That's it. No router required, no fancy joinery. You're literally taking a beautiful piece of wood, cleaning it up, and finishing it properly. Wood selection matters here. Walnut, cherry, and spalted maple command the highest prices. You can find live edge slabs at local sawmills, lumber yards, or even Facebook Marketplace. I've seen people get gorgeous walnut slabs for $15 to $20 that they turn into $150 serving boards. Size matters too. Go 18 inches by 10 inches at minimum. Anything smaller and you're in cheese board territory, which means lower prices. Bigger boards mean bigger price tags. 24 inches and up can sell for $200 or more. One more thing. Include a little care instructions card with every board. Print it nicely. Explain how to oil and maintain it. This tiny detail costs you almost nothing, but adds significant perceived value. It says this is a premium product without you having to say a word.
The second project taps into something even more powerful than aesthetics. It taps into emotion. Keepsake boxes, memory boxes, whatever you want to call them. Here's the psychology. People don't buy boxes. They buy a place to protect what matters most. Love letters from their spouse, their baby's hospital bracelet, photos of grandparents who are no longer here. The emotional weight of what goes inside that box is what makes it valuable, not the box itself. This is why keepsake boxes sell for $100 to $180, even though the construction is incredibly simple. 4 sides, a bottom, and a lid. Basic joinery. You don't need dovetails. Simple rabbet joints that a beginner can cut with a handsaw work perfectly fine. The magic is in personalization. Add a name, a date, or a meaningful phrase, and suddenly the price jumps by $50 to $75. If you have access to a laser engraver, great. If not, you can learn basic wood burning in an afternoon, or partner with someone who has a laser and split the profit. Let me tell you where the real money is in this project. Weddings. Wedding card boxes sell for $120 to $180. Groomsmen proposal boxes sell for $80 to $120 each, and they're always ordered in sets of 4 to 6. Baby keepsake boxes are another huge market. New parents want somewhere beautiful to store those precious first memories. Your material cost for one of these boxes is maybe $12 to $18. Time investment is 2 to 3 hours once you've built a few. Your profit margin is over 80%. And because these are emotional purchases, people rarely haggle on price. They're not buying wood and screws, they're buying a family heirloom. Project number 3 is something you can make with scraps from your other projects: wall-mounted coat racks. Every entryway needs one, every mudroom needs one, every kid's bedroom needs one. The demand is constant, the competition is surprisingly thin, and the construction is as simple as it gets. At its most basic, you're attaching decorative hooks to a piece of wood. That's the whole project. But the difference between a $20 coat rack and a $140 coat rack comes down to material choice and design elements. Reclaimed wood changes everything. Barn wood, pallet wood that's been properly cleaned and prepared, salvaged lumber from old buildings. That rustic farmhouse aesthetic is still incredibly popular, and people pay serious premiums for authenticity. They want to hang their coats on something with history, something with character. Add personalization, and the price climbs even higher. A family name burned or carved into the wood, a meaningful quote, something that transforms this from a generic coat rack into their coat rack. That customization is worth an extra $30 to $50. Here's a production tip that will dramatically increase your profit margins. Make these in batches of 5 to 10. Cut all the boards on the same day. Drill all the holes together. Apply finish to all of them at once. Your per unit time drops by 40%, but your selling price stays exactly the same. This is how you move from hobby money to real income. The pricing breakdown looks like this. A basic pine version with simple hooks goes for $60 to $85. Hardwood with character and better hooks hits $100 to $130. Reclaimed barn wood with personalization pushes $140 to $200. Same basic project, same basic tools, but smart material choices and customization create massive price differences.
Now we're stepping into furniture territory with project number 4, but I promise you it's more accessible than you think. Simple wooden benches. The moment you cross into furniture, the psychological price anchor shifts in your favor. People expect to pay more for furniture. They compare you not to other hobbyist woodworkers, but to stores like West Elm and Pottery Barn, where a simple bench costs $300 to $400. Against that comparison, your $150 handmade bench is a bargain. The construction is straightforward: a top plank and 2 leg assemblies. That's essentially it. You don't need complicated joinery. Screws hidden underneath work perfectly fine. A pocket hole jig like the Craig system costs about $40 and makes strong, invisible joints, but even that isn't strictly necessary. Dimensions that work well are 36 to 48 inches long, 14 to 16 inches tall, and about 12 inches deep. You can build the entire thing with 2x10s and 2x12s from your local home improvement store. Basic lumber that's affordable and easy to work with. Where these really shine is versatility. Entryway benches for taking off shoes, bedroom benches at the foot of the bed, dining benches for farmhouse-style tables, outdoor patio benches when you use treated lumber. Each of these markets has buyers actively searching for exactly what you can build. Here's the time investment reality. Your first bench will take 4 to 6 hours. By your 5th bench, you're down to 2 or 3 hours. Material cost runs $25 to $40 depending on wood choice and size. At a selling price of $120 to $200, The math works beautifully even when you factor in reasonable labor costs. If you want to take this further, consider offering a cushion option. Partner with a local upholstery shop or someone who sews. A bench plus custom cushion transforms a $140 sale into a $200 sale, and you're providing more value to your customer. The fifth and final project surprises a lot of people because it looks way more difficult than it actually is. Floating shelf mantles. Not regular floating shelves, mantles. That word choice matters enormously. A floating shelf is something you buy at Target for $15. A mantle is a statement piece, a design element, the focal point of a living room wall, and focal points command premium prices. What makes these special is the chunky, substantial look. We're talking 3 to 4 inches thick. It looks like a massive solid beam mounted to the wall. Impressive, substantial, expensive looking. But here's the secret. It's not solid. A solid beam that size would be impossibly heavy, prohibitively expensive, and a nightmare to hang. Instead, you build a hollow box using 3/4-inch material on 3 sides. It creates the illusion of that thick, heavy beam while being lightweight enough to actually mount on a wall. The construction requires a saw, a drill, possibly a chisel to clean up the hollow interior, sandpaper, and French cleat hardware for mounting, all basic tools. The technique takes some practice, but there's no advanced joinery involved. Dimensions that work well are 48, 60, or 72 inches. Depth should be 8 to 10 inches, significantly deeper than a typical shelf, which reinforces the mantle aesthetic. Wood choice matters here too. Oak, walnut, or reclaimed barnwood all command premium prices. Here's where the real business strategy comes in. Offer installation as part of the service. When you include the French cleat system and install it yourself, the price jumps to $150 to $200. If the customer wants to install themselves, maybe you sell the mantle alone for $100 to $130. But here's the bigger picture. When you go into someone's home to install a mantle, you're in their home. They see your work up close. They start pointing at other walls, other rooms. Suddenly, one mantle sale turns into matching floating shelves, turns into a coat rack for the entryway, turns into a serving board as a housewarming gift for their sister. One installation visit can generate 3 or 4 additional projects from the same customer. By the way, if you're serious about turning these ideas into actual income, I put together a complete pricing calculator and material list for all 5 of these projects. It breaks down exactly what wood to buy, where to source it, what tools you need, and how to price for your local market. It's completely free. The link is in the description below. Download it before you leave this video because it will save you hours of guesswork.
So there you have it. 5 woodworking projects for beginners that are selling for over $100 each. Live edge serving boards that transform a piece of walnut into functional art. Keepsake boxes that hold memories worth far more than any price tag. Wall-mounted coat racks that combine rustic charm with everyday function. Simple wooden benches that enter furniture territory without furniture complexity. And floating shelf mantles that look like professional installations but are built with beginner-level skills. None of these projects require a $5,000 table saw. None of them require 20 years of experience. None of them require some secret knowledge that only professional woodworkers possess. What they require is the willingness to start, the willingness to charge what your work is worth, and the understanding that you're not competing with big box stores. You're offering something they can never sell, something handmade, something unique, something with a story. The person who buys your serving board isn't comparing it to a plastic cutting board from Walmart. They're comparing it to the experience of having a beautiful piece of functional art in their home. They're comparing it to the compliments they'll receive when guests come over. That's a completely different value proposition, and it justifies completely different pricing. So here's my challenge to you. Pick one of these 5 projects, just one. Build it this weekend, list it for sale by Monday. Don't overthink it. Don't wait until you have better tools. Don't wait until you feel ready. You're ready now. Drop a comment below and tell me which project you're going to tackle first. I read every single comment, and I love seeing what people decide to build. Even better, come back after you sell it and tell me what price you got. Let's build a community of beginners who are actually making money from their work. If this video helped you, hit that subscribe button. I post new videos every week on woodworking projects for beginners that sell, real pricing strategies, and practical business advice for woodworkers at every skill level. The subscribe button is free, and it helps you stay connected with content that actually moves the needle on your income. Thanks for watching. Now stop watching and go build something. Your first $100 sale is waiting for you.